Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm the Director of Student Development at Trails Momentum.
And I'm Dan. I'm a primary therapist at Trails Momentum.
And we're here today to welcome you back for our third session in our Technology Addiction series. We're going to talk to you today about a popular game called Call of Duty. And this is actually more of a game franchise. It started back in 2003, but it's still going strong. So we're going to share with you today some of the basics of what you might want to know about the game itself if you have a gamer in your life playing it, and then also some questions that you can ask that gamer to better understand how they're using the game in their life.
Wow. So what do you think we need to know then?
So Call of Duty is known primarily as a first-person shooter game. This means that the perspective of the player is that they are the person holding the weapon, and that they are moving around in this immersive experience to accomplish a specific task. In this case, the task is to kill people. So it's a war-based game. It's a battle-based game. There's a high level of violence in this game. It's known for being a brutally violent game. There are features to the game where you can actually turn off some of that graphic content, and some users choose to do that because they don't want it to be quite so violent. But many of our players choose to keep that violent aspect in the game. It's part of their experience. This is a game that you purchase, so you buy the game and you can play it on multiple platforms now, and you can also play live with others. So it's not a free game, but it is a game that is across platforms. The game is played live or in a campaign style. If you're playing live, then you're incentivized to continue to play the game so that you don't affect the people you're playing with in a negative way. So you want to minimize what you call AFK, or away from keyboard time, so that you can continue to add to your team's victory in this sense. So those are just a few characteristics of the game. One more is that it's loosely based on history, but there are lots of iterations of the game that have nothing to do with history, like a zombie version, for example. So now that we have some basics about the game itself, what do we need to know in terms of conversation to have around this game with our gamer?
Yeah, so it's important to kind of have a framework, I think, and have a common language to be able to talk about the gamer that you are in relationship with, in order to be able to kind of better understand them and their degree of gaming. So recently a statistic came out that probably 5 to 6% of the whole population of gamers have a real significant addiction. So the World Health Organization just recently came out with a diagnosis for game addiction with various criteria that, if those criteria are met, pretty much says somebody's past the point of no return, that they can't really stop without some kind of intervention or some type of help. So that's why this is really important, to be able to have a conversation.
Okay. So when I think about what I'd want to know if my gamer was playing this, I start with, why does this brutally violent game appeal to the player? And what might that tell us about the gamer?
Yeah, well, I mean, being attracted to violence can speak about a lot of different things. Oftentimes it can be two things. I think one is that it's a great distraction, and there's a lot of adrenaline type scenes, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of stress. And then the second thing is that being attracted to violent games speaks a little bit about, it could speak to someone's level of anger, their level of social issues, struggles with being able to be connected to other people.
Yeah, so just having a better understanding of why they want to play this game in particular, sure. And then another thing that would come up would be, like, when are they playing this game? Are they playing this game like at the end of the day? Are they playing this game, all day long? Like, how much time are they spending with this game?
Right, exactly.
Again, what might that tell us?
Well, the more time, that means the more involved, right? So, and depending upon when that time is used is also a good indicator. Like, do they use that time, like when they have free time and they've got, an hour, so I'm going to play for an hour and then I'm going to go on my way, and there's just a real sense of they can come and go as they please,
right?
Versus somebody who is beginning to use their time and it's beginning to get in the way of things, like the hours increase. The struggle to get away from the game becomes harder and harder, and then things in their lives begin to suffer.
Okay, yeah. So I guess the next thing is how they're playing the game. Like, what method? Are they playing a live version? Are they playing the campaign version? And how might those differentiations mean different things? What might that mean to a family?
Well, live version means that you have AFK, right?
Right.
So if you take time away from the keyboard, other people are going to be affected that you're playing with as collaboratively. And you lose your position. You just lose points. You just go backwards. So there's a strong, immediate negative feedback that gets to the person who takes too much time away from the keyboard.
As opposed to the campaign version where you can actually still pause it.
Right. You can stop it.
Like we used to do when we played video games back in the day, right? I guess the last thing that I think about is, what's the behavior or feeling like for a player after the game is finished?
Sure.
I know there's been a lot of talk about, do violent video games cause aggression, or are violent video games just attracting people who already have aggressive tendencies, and so wondering, how does that player feel when the game is over?
Right. So there really is no strong indication that playing a violent game makes somebody want to go out and be violent. But I guess some of the questions that you got to ask is, does this game cause a lot of stress, right? Or does it help relieve stress?
Yeah.
And that's what, a good question to be asking and framework. And there is some research out there that says that more oftentimes than not, people feel like their stress has been relieved after they've played.
So there is some value to having this kind of a game in somebody's life if they're using it appropriately.
Right.
And again, it's more about just having that conversation and that understanding and not judgment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed our talk today on our third session for technology addiction on Call of Duty. We hope you've checked out our other sessions on Fortnite and League of Legends, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks.